marketing. So someone who has been there doing very basic designing work, he might be in a difficult situation. If he doesn't adapt AI in his work, if he adapts AI, his designs will probably be 100 times better, 100 times faster, right? And he will become a supernova within that industry. Now the point is whether you are ready to accept that or you want to do it the old way, right?
Yes, because we had, at a point of time, we had calculators when they were discovered.
Yeah.
There were teachers who started to protest that why are we putting up calculators?
Yeah.
But teachers who adapted them.
Absolutely.
Because calculator won't go away. AI won't go away anywhere.
So I have all the enjoyment in the world and I don't need to work hard. This is a deadly combination of creating a lazy generation. Non-creative generation.
आप स्क्रीनर पे जाओ. स्क्रीनर पे जैसे मुझे जो स्टॉक चाहिए रहता है उसके लिए मुझे वहाँ पर क्वेरी डालना पड़ता है. सबसे पहले तो लोगों को क्वेरी बनाना आना पड़ता था पहले. What he told is go to ChatGPT, put down your requirements. What kind of stocks are you looking for? Short term, long term. What kind of indicators are you? Everything you just noted down. ChatGPT gives a proper query. You just copy and paste it to screener, and it gives out 10 of those stocks or 5 of those stocks which are there. This is happening right now.
True.
If we talk about stock markets in tier 3 cities like those, it's still a gamble. People still consider stock markets like a gamble. You will see people are scared of stock markets even today. Things are improving. I think the number of demat accounts in Bihar also increased recently. But the mindset that people have, especially in all the tier 3 cities, not just Bihar, but what can private organizations do in this? Let's say in StockEdge also.
Okay. There will be regrets. There will be wrong decisions. There will be fears. But nonetheless, you have to take a decision, right? If you want to do good in life, the worst thing is indecisiveness. Not to take a decision.
Very simple. I have 40 to 50k salary. I am 24-25 years of age. I want a simple strategy of investment, like where should I start investing right now?
Cryptos or any kind of intraday trading, etc. Just stay away from all of these things.
Okay, so सबसे पहले तो thank you so much, sir, for giving us this permission and taking out your time and allowing us to shoot this podcast. And सबसे पहले to our audience and to everyone who is listening this, आप जब कॉलेज में जाते थे, मैं भी जब कॉलेज में गया था, तो वी हैड आवर एलुमनाई लिस्ट. हम वहाँ से स्क्रॉल करते थे कि कौन लोग है, कैसा काम कर रहे हैं. कोई ऐसे भी है जो बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं कहीं पर. While doing so, I found out a company called StockEdge that was working in Kolkata itself. And उसके जो co-founders, उसके जो CEO, they were my college alumni. And this video that we are making right now, it's special because we have the co-founder and CEO of StockEdge right here with us. So Vineet sir, सबसे पहले तो welcome to this podcast.
Thank you so much, Ayush, for doing this. In fact, I should thank you, not you, because, to talk to the next generation, and as you are saying, you are a college junior, it's always so special because, with you, I can go back to those days in the college and relive those movements. So anyways, thank you so much for doing this. Let's start.
Yes, sir. बस यही है कि since you are a senior, आप मेरे को नहीं लगता आप रैगिंग करोगे मेरा यहाँ पर.
उल्टा ना हो जाए आज की दुनिया में.
मैं तो ये सोच कर आया हूँ कि ये पॉडकास्ट शूट हो रहा है, लोग सुनेंगे भी, बट मेरा इंटेंशन यही है कि आज आप मेरे हाथ लगे हो तो मैं जितना आपसे टेक आउट कर सकता हूँ, जो आपका एक्सपीरियंस है सब कुछ, आई विल ट्राई माई बेस्ट.
We all learn from each other, so let's get going.
Okay, sir. So to start with, first I wanted to know, doing your CA, then MBA, then starting your own company, you're right now a CEO. It's like a dream plan or a very perfect plan that people generally make. जब हम भी कॉलेज में थे, तो you get your own perfect degree, you do MBA from an IIM, and after that become a CEO. क्या ये सब प्लान था पहले से? तो ये सब क्या पहले से प्लान था या आपका कुछ? What was your story?
So Ayush, क्या होता है ना कि in life most of the things are not planned, right? I personally believe in living in the day and taking one step at a time. What happens is life has its own way of creating its own path, its own journey, right? You can plan things, but life has its own plans, right? In fact, I would say CA ho jana bhi ek tarike se it was destined, right? Because a lot of friends were at that point of time, I was a commerce grad and friends were doing CA. So I have no qualms in saying that it was not like I was perfectly clear about my vision that I want to become a chartered accountant, then go and do an MBA from IIM. Things kept happening. Good marks just came up in CAT. I would say I was lucky that day. And I feel all these things have a big, dependency on chance, though you should not wait for anything to happen for you, but definitely chance has a role, right? And then things keeps happening. You just need to stay, there will be difficult times, there will be problems. You just need to continuously keep upgrading yourself, keep learning and keep doing your best. बाकी ये सब designation कम बेसी ये सब चलता रहता है. These things are all, I would say vanity factors and doesn't matter much.
Because सर मैं ये क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा था क्योंकि आज जो ये हमारा 20 से 26 इवन 30 तक का जो ब्रैकेट है एज का, वो एक ट्रैक से निकलना इस टाइम पर टू एक्सप्लोर न्यू थिंग्स, पीपल टेंड टू, आप बोल सकते हो कि घबरा जाते हैं कि दे डोंट हैव व्हाट दे हैड प्लान्ड, उसके हिसाब से वो नहीं जा रहे हैं.
करेक्ट.
तो मे बी
See, I personally believe having a too concrete a plan or having things like I want to become a CEO, I think that's too little a thing. Because what happens is your entire energy gets diverted towards that, and probably you are meant for something much bigger, right? And you just lose that. And wherever you are, right? You said that this might be, I might feel that I'm successful, but it's far from that. If you get satisfied, you will not move ahead. So that's a good thing of not being satisfied. But at the same thing, I believe that I personally have achieved a very, very little so far. And there is so much potential. There is so much opportunities out there, right? And you can just keep growing. So having a very concrete idea, it's good. If you want to specialize in one thing and do good, I feel both ways are okay. Either you should specialize in one thing, have a clear goal. That's perfect. I respect those people. I didn't have that kind of clarity in my life, right? And it was like continuously talking to interesting people, learned people, right? Having in the right set of company, right? And that's how I decided what to do next. And so far till this date also, what is going to happen next is all dependent on what I learned today, not based on something, let's say, which I did 20 years back, maybe a chartered accountancy course or an MBA course. No, because all those things becomes less and less important with time. What becomes more important is what is relevant today, right? What is relevant today and what will be relevant in next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And you need to listen to people around, including youngsters, including people who are senior. So it's part of the game, I would say.
So maybe not having clarity is also good sometimes. It gives you a chance to explore.
You need to seek clarity, right? You need to bring clarity. And once you are clear about that, take action.
And stick to it.
Take action. Stick to it, take action. Don't be fickle-minded in action, right? You might have a lot of confusion before you start taking action. And you should be very fast in arriving at a decision. Once you have arrived at a decision, right? Don't be fickle-minded. Until and unless you have a clear data which says that you are going wrong in your execution, or probably you are climbing a wrong wall, right? You should stick to it and you should do it with all sincerity and without being fickle-minded.
Then how did stock markets, how did it come in your life?
See, when I was, when I was a student, a chartered accountant student, I realized that even CA students and BCom students who have commerce as their subject, they understand a very little about financial markets. And financial markets is restricted to a set of elite people and they are making money out of it. This was back in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, those times, right? I had this thing in mind that we need to simplify the world of financial markets and we need to democratize it so that everyone has access to it. Different people approached it from different ways. Some people approached it from the way of providing discount broking, right? Good tech solutions for people to onboard them to the platforms, we thought that the most important piece is people need to be aware of the concepts of finance. They need to be less scared of the complexities of nitty-gritties of financial markets, and they need certain amount of handholding there. That's why we started with the learning piece called elearnmarkets. That is back in 2014. Vivek also had similar thought process. In fact, we started Credent Academy, which is classroom-based training for financial markets first. But then we realized to expand, to reach out to a larger audience, we need to go online. And I had some experience because of my first venture directly out of my college, which was FireUp, an online CAT preparation portal back in 2008. So I had some exposure there. I worked on it for a couple of years. I think it was too early to monetize that kind of platform, though it had a very good traction in terms of users coming to the platform. But monetizing it was becoming difficult. So I worked on it for a couple of years. So I had that experience. And when I met Vivek, who is a college senior, like, you are meeting me today. So I met Vivek and we had a good connect and we decided to work together. So Vivek had this thought process that Credent Academy, which is classroom-based training of financial markets, we worked on it for a couple of years, then started elearnmarkets to spread it to the entire country. We again realized that there are experts on various aspects of financial market and we need to democratize their access to people. And that's where we started the webinar series and the courses from multiple experts across the country. And that's where the entire journey started. Then we realized that people need access to a good tool, which is pocket friendly also, and which can get inside your pocket, means on app. And that's where we started StockEdge. So that's how the journey started and it went on.
Let's say if you wake up as a 24 or 25-year-old right now, and you have all the knowledge that you have today, and you have all the opportunities that a 24 or 25-year-old now has. So will you stick to the same industry or will you do something else, maybe a content creator or I don't know?
See, this question can be answered from various angles. Okay, one is which industry I'll choose. Right. That point of time, I thought financial markets, democratizing it, reaching it to people, making it simpler was a need, real need, and very, very few people were doing it. Now with this entire tsunami of influencers and everyone teaching financial markets, I think that need is to a large extent saturated, right? So probably the industry or the starting point within financial markets would have been very different. Now, let's say if we are standing today, we're at a juncture where there is a revolution happening in AI, right? And let's say if I stick to financial markets, which is because of my educational background, because of the problem I face that, even being a chartered accountancy student, understanding of financial markets was limited because of lack of practical exposure. That problem is still there. And I feel we still need to solve it. But now we have AI. So probably an intersection of AI and financial markets is something which we need to work on. So it would have been that today, right? This is one angle, that which industry to start with, how to start, with whom to start, where to start. All these things would have been different if I would have better understanding, because there were a lot of learnings during this process.
But AI is something that you would have focused on.
AI is definitely something I have focused. Because I personally feel AI, just like internet was revolutionary. Things changed after that. The entrepreneurs, the startup founders, they used internet as a base, as a infrastructure, and they built platforms on top of that, right? That was 2000, and post that in India that happened, right? Similarly, when mobile came and mobile app became popular, suddenly everyone was building on mobile apps. So that was another platform which came, and a lot of mobile apps got built, right? And there were mobile only kind of platforms which came up. So that was another platform. But a much larger platform now is the AI piece, because it's building the basic infrastructure on top of which a lot of enterprises will be built. A lot of new applications of AI will be used to make lives better, to make various segments better, whether it's health, whether it's finance, whatever we do in our day-to-day life, there's a lot of scope, which AI will, people like you, me, we have to work towards finding use cases and making it available to the common mass, again democratizing it, improving general person's life, so to say.
And maybe losing jobs also. Like I recently had a word with a performance marketing agency founder. He told me like all the Google ads and every ad that all the campaigns that they used to run, earlier they had a team of 25 people doing that. Recently they have automated all their processes and the team left is of 6 people. This brings, recently we saw the Ghibli trend. The founder of Ghibli Studios also commented on it, and we had graphic designers all around protesting against it. So
See, I personally feel, the world has been improving in terms of efficiency, let's say with internet, with different kind of technologies, with better infrastructure, roads, cars. Technology is everywhere, right? And technology has been improving. But has that reduced the number of jobs? Not yet. There was industrial revolution. Yes, the lowest skill labor, right, they might lose some work, right? So in every industry, let's say you're talking about marketing. So someone who has been there doing very basic designing work, he might be in a difficult situation if he doesn't adapt AI in his work. If he adapts AI, his designs will probably be 100 times better, 100 times faster, right? And he will become a supernova within that industry. Now the point is whether you are ready to accept that or you want to do it the old way, right? If you say that you are riding a ghoda gadi, a horse cart, and you want to compete with a Merc, right? Or even a Maruti car, will you be able to do it? The speed, the efficiency? No, right? So you have to become a cab driver from a ghoda gadi driver, right? So you have to change based on what's happening, right? The context, the industry. So if you do that, probably you will not lose job, right? But you have to upskill yourself, and AI will become a must-have skill right from the school days, right? But yes, there will be people who will not be able to upgrade and they'll be left behind, and it's a sad reality of the new world, and we cannot escape that.
yes, because we had, at a point of time, we had calculators when they were discovered.
Yeah.
There were teachers who started to protest that why are we putting up calculators?
Yeah.
But teachers who adapted them,
Absolutely.
because calculator won't go away. AI won't go away anywhere.
See, I'll give you a very recent example, right? Till a decade back, everyone used to write accounts in those red big books, right? Khatas. And those accountants found it very difficult when computer came and computer accounting came. And they used to have, press buttons like this, take a lot of time, struggled because they were at an age where learning becomes very slow, right? And I can't blame them. And they found it difficult. Some of them had to quit their job also, right? Similarly, if there is a complete upgrade of a system, like let's say AI is a complete upgrade, a lot of people will find it very difficult, no doubt about it. As a country, what we need to do, and as an organization, what we need to do is upskill people, spend a lot of time, energy, money on upskilling people. As parents, we need to upskill our kids, give them access to the right tools, give them the way to use it in the right manner, because it can be used in very, very detrimental ways, which is beyond our imagination, right? So we need to have that kind of monitoring, surveillance, right? Because it's new. No one knows how to use it properly, right? Because the other day I was seeing my son trying to get his homework done through the ChatGPT. That's a very common thing. Now you need to monitor that and curb that situation, because this will become very common.
And it's scary as well, because if we see, there is no boundary or no restriction as to who is using AI.
Absolutely.
Let's say if we use generative AI and students of class 5 start using AI, the creativity that develops when they write something or when they think about something, the projects that we used to do and everything, if that goes away,
see, I
long-term,
feel, already we were struggling with this from the last decade or so with the advent of Instagram, which I think is a real monster for kids, right? And all the social media platforms, plus the games, plus the pornography, plus everything. Because one mobile can give you access to all these things unlimited, right? Because internet is unlimited and no one is watching you. You can watch these things unlimited. And on young, impressionable minds, this is poison. Already we were struggling with this poison. And now we have AI, right? It's not going to be easy. And no one knows the right answer to it. How to exactly use it, right? Or how to monitor the kids or how to control the access for the kids. Because see, till now, it was enjoyment. Now what's happening is they need whatever labor they had to put in their homework, in their doing their projects, etc. That is also going down drastically. So I have all the enjoyment in the world and I don't need to work hard. This is a deadly combination of creating a lazy generation, non-creative generation, very frustrated generation also. I would not blame them because, anyways, this social media was making them frustrated because there was incessant comparison with the whole world. Think about it, right? And especially this was, I recently read a book where there was enormous amount of research on this, where the author said that the girls are getting impacted because of social media, especially Instagram, much more than the boys because of the comparison which is happening. And the boys are negatively getting impacted because of the games, right? The very, very, I would say the games which are such that violent, right? And you don't know what's happening there inside. What kind of ads are probably shown there. So it's a different world which the parents might not be even aware of. So the games were there, and then access to pornography at a very, very young age. This is very dangerous. Now you have AI which can give all answers, right, to you. So you don't have to do much of work. That's up till yet. But from here on, how things will move, no one knows. So this is area which we need to, and if you see, everyone is bothered about it. I have heard from Elon Musk to, everyone talking about this as a big, big risk for the next generation. Let's see how we handle. I am very optimistic that we will do it in the right way.
I think one of that is also in stock markets. Like last day I was searching, like I was going through a video. We used to do, like equity researchers, they used to do all the research and bring out stocks according to the person's needs. What he told is, आप स्क्रीनर पे जाओ. स्क्रीनर पे जैसे मुझे जो स्टॉक चाहिए रहता है उसके लिए मुझे वहाँ पर क्वेरी डालना पड़ता है. सबसे पहले तो लोगों को क्वेरी बनाना आना पड़ता था पहले. What he told is, go to ChatGPT, put down your requirements. What kind of stocks are you looking for? Short term, long term? What kind of indicators are you? Everything you just noted down. ChatGPT gives a proper query. You just copy and paste it to screener, and it gives out 10 of those stocks or 5 of those stocks which are there. This is happening right now.
True.
10 years down the line.
See, Ayush, what I personally feel is everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. Which means you can simplify things to a certain extent. You cannot simplify further beyond that. Otherwise, it will lose its essence. And that's what is happening. See, any kind of generative AI, or for that matter, agentic AI, it's there to make things better for you, simpler for you, and make it more efficient for you. But if you try and make things which are complicated, like let's say, operating on a human being, or even giving you suggestions on medicines. If I ask ChatGPT, it will give me some suggestions. But should I go ahead and use it? I don't think so, right? Same thing might be true for financial advice, right? Because there are more nitty-gritties to it, and personal finance is more personal, as I always say. And understanding you as a person, when I'm sitting and talking to you, I understand you, I empathize with you in a different way than what ChatGPT can do. Probably it will achieve that kind of efficiency maybe in future. But at this point of time, I personally feel people should be very, very cautious on taking advice on things like health, finances, etc. from ChatGPT. There has to be layers built on that. There has to be caution built on that. Top of that, and it should be legal. It should be ethical, right? Those layers are not yet built out there, right? So we are far from that place right now. We are, we have to do a lot of work on that.
Do you think stock markets will get like completely automated? Like algo trading is happening right now. 10 years down the line,
See, there are theories which says that human beings will have minimum work to do, and there will be something called universal income, right? Everyone will have certain amount of income. You sit and enjoy your life because you have that income, and machines and robots and generative AIs and
There's also a movie.
yeah,
based on
they'll
this.
do all that work, right? So in theory, everything is possible, right? The stock market's completely going out of human hands. The entire health industry going out of human. Who wants to go to a doctor, right? It's not a good feeling, and mostly the doctors are not very pleasant people to talk to. I'm sorry, but that's what the experience most of us will have. So I'm sorry, all the doctor friends. I have a lot of doctor friends, but they are generally burdened, right? What if you go to a hospital? You don't have to go. Let's say everything is online, and they are giving you advice, and it's okay. Everything is settled, right? They can be empathetic. They can be emotional. They can cry with you.
So AI industry is something that is completely booming. But there is one sector that I feel it's stagnant. Like we had seen, like we were talking about this also, that every industry has a time when it starts to boom. The car industry, let's say abhi jo AI ke saath ho raha hai. But there is one industry that has remained like it has been since centuries. It's the educational industry. Like what I feel is countries like Germany, and where the education is actually considered like an important thing. India, I feel it's more like a business. What do you feel about the educational sector?
Ayush, I would say that's a oversimplification of a sector. Business is okay. Everything is business in life. But if you look at various angles, one is the new education policy. So there is an effort to change, to increase the impetus of practical education, right? Like you said, Germany. So practical education, vocational training, having a mix of subjects. So having a multidisciplinary approach to education, is on the cards. So far, I would agree to one thing, that the impact or the kind of impetus which was there on primary education was far lesser than the higher education. See, India created world-class institutions like IITs, IIMs, AIMS, right, in higher education. And these are all government institutions, right? And they are world-class. On the contrary, if you look at government schools, which are primary education institutes by government, they are at, in terms of quality, they are very, very low in terms of the student who are passing out from there, the teachers who are appointed there, the entire pedagogy which is used over there. It's substandard, right? From any and people don't want to send their kids, especially if they can afford a private education, right? This has to change, and this can change from a state level, from a district level, from a village level, right? One school at a time, probably. This needs to change. If the primary education, which is where the base building is happening, if this becomes very strong, and this has practical education embedded in it, this has vocational training embedded in it, and the respect for vocational training increases, because right now no one respects ITIs, which is the place where vocational training happens. It has to become part of your school curriculum. Right, I should know to do basic carpentry, basic electrician work, etc. And I should not feel ashamed of doing that. It's not a menial job, right? Ultimately, because if you have to create large-scale employment, you have to give vocational training at school level. And financial education should be also part of that. AI should also be part of that. And those things are made part of in the new education policy. So I feel there are steps in the right direction, and we'll see changes from here.
Like I gave that statement because like there is a data which says that only 12% of the graduate students that come out from Indian colleges, they are employable or they have a skill, compared to US, which has almost 65 to 66% of those graduates. What I feel is like we gave an example of Germany. Like till the primary education, they try to find out, our students, they have this kind of skill. Let's say he's more creative, he's good with numbers, he's a good singer. Till primary education, they do that, maybe class 5 or 6. And after that, they start to nurture those students on the basis of that. So let's say if we can take example of Mahabharata also. In our Gurukuls, someone who was good in archery, like Arjun, he must have been tested with all those weapons and everything. But once the guru found out ki, okay, he's good in archery, he went on to make him the best archer in the world.
Absolutely. And I feel, the kids are struggling because there is no right direction which he gets from his teachers, from his parents, etc. And most of these students have to find out on their own what is the thing which they are good at, right? You get a lot of gyan on this, that you should do what you are good at. But to find out what you are good at is a big challenge, right?
Yes.
And as a kid, as a youngster, as a teenager, it's extremely difficult. And that's where the struggle is. That's where the anxiety is, right? I feel in our new education policy, this is also addressed to a certain extent. That's number one. Number two, what's happening is, we talked about government institutions. So government needs to work on the primary education. Similarly, the private institutes, what you said, only 12% graduates employable. You see, at a higher education level, the worse is private education. Any private institution, right? Either there are organizations like, let's say, the Jesuit Society, right? Or the convent schools, which are doing good. They have colleges, those are also doing good. But private institute, where the ultimate objective is to make money, they are producing large scale factory workers, I would say, but they are naming them as engineers, right? So, and these engineers and these postgraduates, MBAs, etc., they don't want to become laborers, right? But the kind of skill sets which are given to them, that's not something which can make them real professionals, right? Practical education is missing. So those things need to change at private education level, and government need to have regulation. In India, the problem is the regulation is also so heavy, right, that it kills the basic purpose of regulation, right? So all those things are changing. So education, what I personally feel is the right step towards that will be for individuals, at least who can afford doing that education. I think we are over that period where school and college used to be the ultimate education. That's all. I feel now education is lifelong. Even if you are a simple graduate, you can learn things which a PhD might not know in the same field, because you have the entire knowledge base available. So you should encourage the next generation to learn continuously and not get restricted. Now the entire, I would say, hundreds of courses from Harvard, Oxford, and all the everything is available on platforms like Coursera, edX, etc. So the whole world is open in front of you. You have to take certain steps. Until the time you improve yourself, everything else will, is immaterial.
Since all we are talking about educational system, I don't think we should ignore states like Bihar. I had a question regarding that also. I come from Bihar. I come from a city called Bhagalpur. If we talk about stock markets in tier 3 cities like those, it's still a gamble. People still consider stock markets like a gamble. Whoever I talk to, maybe my uncles, or if you go throughout any sessions or anything in Bihar, you will see people are scared of stock markets even today. Things are improving. I think the number of demat accounts in Bihar also increased recently. But the mindset that people have, especially in all the tier 3 cities, not just Bihar, how do, let's say there should be an action by the government, or maybe schools should do this. I completely agree with this. But what can private organizations do in this? Let's say in StockEdge also.
See, I personally feel everything has a way of progressing. Okay, if you give them a product like equity, which is risky, and then you have FNO also on top of that, to someone who doesn't have a matching per capita income, right? Because see, certain instruments or certain things should only be given to you when you have that kind of risk bearing capability, right? If I tell you to do markets tomorrow, you will probably jump into FNO also. Right? So if you look at the demography of Bihar, or for that matter, the entire East India, the growth is bound to be slower here, or the penetration of financial markets is bound to be slower because of the lower per capita income compared to, let's say, west of the country, right? And West has always have had the equity culture. So one is about the per capita income, the other is about the equity culture. So, culturally, this part of the country is not very equity loving kind of thing, because it's again about, I would say, how much risk they are willing to take. So there are certain cultures which are not willing to take risk in entrepreneurship, doing new businesses, or for that matter, getting into something as risky as financial markets. So, things will take its own time. We have had a very good increase in demat accounts, in folios of mutual funds over the last couple of years, 3-4 years. So I think we are moving in the right direction, and too much of work on that can actually be counterproductive, right? If we go very aggressive and bring in people in financial markets, it may get counterproductive. What I personally feel is mutual fund is a safer, better, more tax efficient route of getting into financial markets.
At least better than FD,
better than FD from that perspective, higher return, and I say better than direct equity participation for people who are new to it, so that the risk is minimized. It's more tax efficient, it's more versatile. So that's where people should enter, right? Maybe start with a 500 rupees, 1000 rupees, 2000 rupees SIP, and then probably progress from there. That's the approach I would suggest anyone who is new, who has not yet got into markets. That's where they should start rather than direct equity.
And I think things will start to change. They are changing also. I have seen my friends who have become influencers in Bihar only. Their startups are there in Bihar. Absolutely. I think things are changing. And regarding that, if we talk about entrepreneurship, you are an example. You have lots of experience. If I ask you what is entrepreneurship in a very simple layman language, like to a 5-year-old, how will you explain who is an entrepreneur?
See, it's a difficult question, because if you just want a general definition, it's there out there, you can go and search. But I personally believe anyone who has this strong urge of doing something on his own, creating value for a set of people maybe, right, is an entrepreneur.
I also got this question according to me, maybe Doraemon cartoon.
Okay.
He can be considered
That's interesting.
In the cartoon, whenever Nobita, the character, had a problem, so Doraemon used to give him a gadget according to his problem.
Oh, okay.
In a very basic sense.
Yes.
If he monetizes it and everything. So he's an entrepreneur.
Right.
So
that's true. Yeah, you can call it. See, everyone will have his own definition, and that's how it should be. If it serves your purpose, so just a 3 idiots mein, zips goes up and down and it's a machine. So yes, it's a machine. So yeah.
So आपने इसका, like what we say is a leap of faith. When did you take that? Like you were, I think, working in a company before starting your own venture. So when did that decision come up? Okay, I need to give up this and I need to follow my passion or maybe starting off something new. Like it's a very big decision for anyone to get into a business.
So Ayush, what happens is we need to critically evaluate ourselves at every point of time. And we need to understand our weaknesses more than we understand our strengths. People generally don't do that. That's the problem. You don't critically evaluate yourself all the time. At various points of time, when I did that, I understood that, I need to do something of my own. Because given my mindset, my thought process, attitude, probably it's better that I start something of my own, or probably at least I work in an environment where I can take my own decisions, and those decisions should have some impact, and I can scale up those decisions. I am allowed to go wrong, right? And I'm allowed to fail and learn from those failures. I'm allowed to succeed and scale up those successes, right? That's the mindset I was looking at. Probably you would say a lot of experimentation in the attitude. So if you feel that that's where, that's how you want to be, then probably you'll need space to, do these things. So that's where I decided that I want to do something. That's why 2008, when I passed out from IIM Indore, I had a job with JP Morgan, right? And I didn't go and join that job finally. And I started,
It's a very big decision.
It was, and there were a lot of times where actually I thought whether I took a right decision or not. But nonetheless, now I feel, retrospectively, I feel it was a good decision, right? Because it was in sync with my attitude, my personality, my thought process. That's the most important thing. You have to be happy at the end of the day by doing what you want to do, and that's how I took the decision.
So are you scared of regret? Like everything went well with you, but while decision making, I think it's a major factor that people are scared of regrets. That okay, if I take this step, I might go wrong, and that will haunt me down.
I'll give you an anecdote. So there is this ad कि गला सबका सूखता है, डर सबको लगता है. वैसे these things happens with everyone, and if anyone is saying no, in my life there are no regrets, there are no fears, he's just lying. Okay, there will be regrets, there will be wrong decisions, there will be fears, but nonetheless you have to take a decision, right? If you want to do good in life, the worst thing is indecisiveness.
Not to take a decision. Right? And this is so common, so very common, that this is the biggest reason which holds people back from their real potential. Do you have a hack for that, or anything that you followed while taking a decision?
See, I'll give you an example. Warren Buffett, he made almost all his wealth, 80-90% of his wealth, from 5 right decisions out of the thousands decisions which he has taken over a span of 70-80 years of his career, 60-70 years of his career. So that's where 5 decisions, that's where his money is being made. So the point is, he went wrong more than 50% times, right? Any investor, great investor, went wrong for more than 50, 60, 70% of time. You need to understand it's a game of probability. The life is a game of probability. You tomorrow have a girlfriend, you want to get married. Whether the marriage will work successfully or not, it's ultimately a game of probability. The problem happens when we feel that 100% of our decisions, 100% of our relations, 100% of our investments should go right. That's where the problem happens. Right? If you accept that my decisions can go wrong, my investments can go wrong, you will be okay when they go wrong, right? And you can come out of them. So the hack is just understanding life is a game of probability. You can go wrong all the times.
Just don't be harsh on yourself when you go wrong.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it's easier said than done. There are times when you feel that you took a bad decision, but ultimately, all said and done, you have to take the next decision just after that, right? You cannot just hold that. So yeah, make decisions in life. Go ahead and execute fast, so that even if you are doing the wrong thing, you just come out of it faster, right? And evaluate. Talk to people, right? But take your own decision, because different people will have different thought processes.
Different opinions.
How it helps is it gives you perspective of which you were blinded. We have some blind sides. We don't understand. When we are just thinking about it, right? We'll write 4 points about a thing. When we talk to people, you might get a perspective which you have not thought of. So always, while deciding on big things, talk to people, see what's their perspective. Tell them that I'm just trying to understand your brain, right? The decision will ultimately be mine. Don't be sad if I don't take what you are saying, right? I'm just taking your viewpoint, and it's important. I'll give due consideration to that.
ये मेरे साथ तो होता है. मतलब when I try to take advice from someone, तो मेरे दिमाग में ये तो आता है. If I don't follow his advice, will you?
You be very frank. I have learned doing this, where I tell them that this is an important decision I'm making. I need your help. Ultimately I might not do exactly as you say, but your perspective will give me a better decision making way to make decision. So please help me with this. So the other person is also prepared, and he'll be probably less biased, because he knows if I become too biased, probably he's not going to do that. So it's always good to be transparent in your communication, I would say.
Also wanted to know, क्या हर कोई entrepreneur बन सकता है? मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि एक फैड चलता है जब हर कोई चाहता है कि मुझे ये बनना है. कभी एक इंजीनियर्स का था, कभी लॉयर्स का था. क्या हर कोई एंटरप्रेन्योर बन सकता है? वो अंदर जो पर्सनालिटी होता है वो है. मतलब आई हैड फ्यू डेटा पॉइंट्स विच से कि 70% of the founders experience burnout when they start their business. Even the divorce rate also increases by 10%. NCRB data reveals that suicide rates have increased in entrepreneurship. So just jumping in and following the fad, is it okay? Or maybe you...
See, I personally feel not everyone is carved out for becoming a entrepreneur or for that matter even a businessman. Because see, what happens is the decision making ultimately shifts from someone else to you. As an entrepreneur, you need to make the most difficult decisions. Everyone in your organization will look up to you for difficult decisions. If you are not good at decision making, which is okay, which is, if you're not good at it, you are not good at it, right? You can try and improve it, but again, it will take time. It might not happen given your attitude, personality, etc. So if you personally feel you are slow at decision making, you can't take too much risk, you are very conservative in your approach, probably entrepreneurship is not the right thing to do for you. Because see, there are decisions like downsizing. It's, the burnout, the suicide, which you said. From inside, from outside, you may not show. But from inside, if things like that happens to your organization, when we have to ask people to leave, it's extremely difficult. You understand? So if you feel you cannot do it, you have to understand it might happen in future. And if you cannot do it, then you should not go that path. So yeah.
Okay. And I also had a question, which is maybe majority of Indian youngsters can ask this question to you. Very simple. I have 40 to 50k salary. I am 24-25 years of age. I want a simple strategy of investment. Like, where should I start investing right now? Everything. Like, currently people have all the ideas. Mutual funds, options, this, that. If you want to suggest something.
Let me quickly ask you some questions. Your age is?
25.
And you are earning 50,000 rupees per month. Is anyone dependent on you, on this salary? Your household expenses, etc. Are they dependent on this?
From my side, no.
No. So someone else is earning and your income is completely extra for your family, right? Okay. So the first thing which you should do is go ahead and take a health insurance.
Okay.
If you don't have a health insurance, right? If your parents, anyone in your family doesn't have a health insurance, go ahead and take that. Second thing is, if you don't have a life insurance yet, go and take a life insurance. At least 200 times of your monthly income. Okay. I would suggest that, a ballpark figure. There are reasons for that. We'll discuss that later. But anyways, so, you should have a decent amount of, and go ahead and take a term plan. Okay. So you should, in this case, you should ideally have a 1 crore rupees insurance term plan.
I think good ones come by around 500-600 per month.
Right? So you can take a term plan. Third thing is, you should have an emergency fund.
Okay.
And I suggest that when from very young age, you should have an emergency fund at least of 6 to 9 months of your expenses. In this case, since you don't have too many expenses lined up, but you still will have something to manage yourself. You're not taking money from your dad or anyone. You are managing now on your own because you have a salary. And let's say you have gadgets to buy, etc. Keeping that, I'm saying 100% of your salary, at least for 6 months. That means 3 lakh rupees in emergency fund, right? This you should keep in things which is completely flexible. You can withdraw tomorrow itself, which can be a liquid fund in mutual funds. Now comes the investment part. I personally feel you should start SIPs.
Okay.
Right? You should at least at this age where you don't have expenses, too many expenses, out of 50,000, 20,000 rupees should go in multiple type of SIPs with different goals. So your goals can be, let's say, buying a car. Ultimately, rather than taking it on a EMI, don't go that route. Probably start investing 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You will invest enough to buy a car. If you're investing, let's say, 5,000 rupees for car. Let's say you want to go for your MBA, higher studies, maybe 2 years down the line. So probably leave everything aside. 20,000 entirely goes inside this fund, right? So whatever are your goals, allocate money out of 50,000 as much as possible. 20,000, 25,000. If you don't have too many other expenses, goes there. and then you are left with another 20-25,000, of which you should spend on yourself certain amount of money. Try to upskill yourself. I believe that's also a great investment in yourself, because that can increase your earning capability. This 50,000 can grow because of that, right? So these are some simple steps which you can do. For mutual fund SIPs, since you have a long time horizon, all the SIPs can be in diversified equity funds. You can choose a flexi cap fund, in which the fund manager has the flexibility to choose,
And your risk is
less. And since you are also ready to invest for long term, 10 years, 15 years, you can choose some small cap and mid cap funds also, which are more riskier, but over a long period of time generates better returns. So you can go with a couple of them. So that kind of mix in your mutual fund SIPs you can do.
Anything about options?
No, just stay away from that. I would say stay away from that unless that's what you want to make your career in, and you want to learn it properly, full-time career, then yes, it's a great field. But otherwise not as a part-time option trading. Just stay away from it.
Okay, because most of the youngsters today are
future and option, cryptos, or any kind of intraday trading, etc. Just stay away from all of those things.
Perfect. And any of the 3 sectors that you are currently opportunistic about, or maybe looking after?
See, at this point of time, in Indian markets, I personally feel you should go bottom up, which means look at opportunities in stocks. Sectors will keep moving up and down, and for small bets, for short-term bets, you can look at sectors. But I would personally say go stock specific, bottom up, and there are opportunities in various sectors, including the traditional ones. I will stay away from all the cyclicals like steel and cement, etc. I personally want to stay away from them. But all the agnostic sectors, which are all weather seasons sectors, I would probably not focus on sector, but focus more on stocks and do stock picking. Have a basket of 10 stocks, and whenever there is a correction, I would like to invest in that. That's my approach of investing. So I would probably go more stock specific, wherein stocks can be from all sectors. Now, definitely there are some sectors which are emerging. Renewable is one of them. Water treatment is one of them. EV, certain companies which are more into EV and at good valuation. So those are there. Power, I think, is a booming sector right now. So you can have a mix of all, but I would like to go more stock specific, and especially trying to find value in their corrections. I don't buy on an everyday basis. I wait for the right price to come. And you get opportunities. The good thing about markets is it gives you opportunities. You should have a list of 10 to 15 stocks which you understand very well, and you are reading them. Even if it is not there in your portfolio, you are waiting for the right time to come, and you jump in at the right point of time when there is a good correction in the markets, or that particular company, maybe because of some negative news, etc., which might not be changing the fundamentals of the company, but just temporarily impacting the price. It's a time to jump in that.
Various sectors that were...
Yes. So I would not say that go and buy defense just because this war happened. Because yes, if you would have defense, it's great. It's a long-term play. In India is becoming a exporter probably in defense. It's a great play, right? But just because this news is there and there will be a run, and you jump into it now when the stock prices are moved up, probably you are trying to ride the momentum. So that's also a great strategy, but that's a different thing altogether. My style is not that. My style is wait for the right price, then get inside it and ride it for a longer time.
Okay. So we have some time constraints, so we can end this. I'll just end it with one question, one more question for you. For you, what success is? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it... Let's say there is an influencer called Samay Raina. So he once said that, okay, success is something like whatever I do, I'm doing it for my parents, and वो करना मेरे लिए success है. तो आपके लिए success क्या है? And to the youngsters out there, if you want to say कि success होता क्या है at the end, किसी भी चीज को लेके.
See, again, all the definitions in life are, I think, very, very personal, right? And it can keep changing, keep evolving. I personally feel where you feel a sense of purpose and that purpose being achieved, that's success. All right. It has less to do with happiness. It has less to do with being very, very passionate. Yes, passion is required definitely. But according to me, the most important criteria is having a purpose and working towards it, and ultimately, meeting that purpose. That's success. Okay. So let's say if for me, democratizing financial markets was a purpose, and I worked hard towards it, and we could onboard, let's say, 5 million people. I could make some difference in the life of so many people. I could play some part in it, if not the biggest part, but at least I felt that my purpose is achieved. Okay. So that's success for me. Right. Now it can be in terms of money. It can be in terms of adding value to someone else's life. It can be making something, creating a product. It can be anything. If the purpose is to make a awesome product, right? If I've created that, it's success for me. So our purpose can keep changing, right? As we evolve, as we grow, right? And if we are able to meet that purpose, then I think that's the success.
Okay. And your purpose is helping people out there with StockEdge.
In different ways. So till now it was that. Probably in future it can be in different ways, right? Helping people more directly. So things keep changing.
Yes. I mean, the app is really good. Like I have also personally used it, and I have many friends who use it. So if the CEO of StockEdge wants to say something about the app, or if anything new is coming up.
See, there are a lot of features which we keep adding. So ultimately I would request all of you to go and download StockEdge app. It's a freemium app, which means it's free for you. And for a person who's just starting, the free version is good enough, right? When you go to an advanced level, then you require a subscription. So go ahead, use the free version. You can understand there are a lot of places which we internally say these are just like ATM, because if you religiously follow it, do it properly, you will make money out of that. This is not a claim that will definitely make money. Again, it's a game of probability, but the probability increases when you do your homework with StockEdge. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for being here.